Orleans Radio with your hosts, Nathan Lawrenson, Caleb Hitt, and Goyle on 990 WGSO.
In 1814,
All right, Battle of New Orleans Radio. We're back. Myself, Caleb, Nathan Lawrenson. Sorry about that. We have a really special guest on next. We've been wanting to get her on the show. We were trying to get her on 2 weeks ago. She was really busy. She's been highly involved in the Trump fundraiser, the Trump campaign, the Trump train, whatever you want to call it. She's a New Orleans native. You might know her from her stints on USA Up All Night, Happy Days, Married with Children. She, again, is a New Orleans native, and if anyone wants to call in, they can call in and ask
I loved Up All Night.
Yeah, Up All Night was a great show. I loved it. And we'd stay up all night to enjoy that as young men, like a lot of Americans would do. And anyways, Rhonda, if you're there, we're really pleased to have you on the show. We want to hear your... And listen, we want to hear your take. I know you were saying today you were in Florida there, or somewhere with the Trump campaign, and just
Miami.
And fill our listeners in on what's going on right now, what you're feeling, what you're seeing from him. We were exchanging some messages. You were saying he was a little bit down in Orlando, but now you're seeing a reinvigorated Trump. What are you seeing in the camp?
Yeah. Well, I saw him in Orlando. I wouldn't say he was down. I think he's really tired. I mean, like today, I'm exhausted. I drove to Miami last night and drove back after the lunch. I mean, it's after the breakfast. So that was over about 11, and then he proceeded to do 3 more rallies. So I'm exhausted just from driving. I can't even imagine. And he spoke, and he was in the best mood. But when I saw him in Orlando, it was the same thing. It was a fundraiser. It was a dinner fundraiser. So he had done 3 other rallies. So, I've been on the Trump train since the primaries. I mean, way in the beginning, and kind of started in my neighborhood with neighbors just talking. Most of my neighborhood is really for Trump, pro-Trump.
Wow.
So it's just and I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now.
Wow, I didn't expect that in Florida. Wow.
Well, it was really interesting. I was a Democratic girl from New Orleans and ran for office long before you guys were probably born for Register of Conveyances, and almost won back then. And so, that was my roots, and I always loved politics. And by the way, a lot of your listeners may even remember me from the Shape Spot commercial, which even goes back, or my Miss Louisiana days.
Yeah, we saw that on there. Oh, yeah, we saw that on your bio there. And actually, our young producer was pulled some pictures up of you and was like, whoa, we got to get her in studio. But go ahead, continue.
But anyway, so I started, and quite frankly, I reached out, not fundraising before, being on the other side, running for office. I'd never fundraised, and I really wanted to fundraise, and I really wanted to get Mr. Trump to the house, to my home. And it started, and it was looking good, but you had to raise a certain amount to get him here. And then we were going through hurricane season. You guys got a lot of the same weather that we did. So a lot of things just fell through. Then late August, I was approved and had raised enough money to get Governor Pence to my home. So that was a really successful event, almost hurt by a storm that we got kind of the end of that.
Hurricane Matthew.
Yes. But anyway, he was amazing. His wife was amazing. I mean, it was just kind of an amazing thing to watch how it even goes down when you have an event in your home and you have the Secret Service and the front people and 3 days of this going on. And this was for Governor Pence. Then after that, I wanted to, I kept wanting to get, to really meet or re-meet. I had met Mr. Trump in the 90s in New York. But then I got what they call bundling, when you bundle a bunch of donors and you bring in so much money. I bundled an event, got a busload of people, and we took them to Orlando. Okay. And that was where I saw him. And that was in late September. And then today. So today was really interesting because it's the last on-ground fundraiser. I mean, yes, they want the funds to continue to roll in to the last minute, literally to the day of. I mean, because they're doing this last-minute push, so of course it's never too late. They made $7 million online yesterday, which is pretty amazing. So people are really pushing through. But this was the last donor.
This is the last push, and that's why even though you're tired, you're on the air with us, and we appreciate that.
I know. I'm still so pumped. I'm so pumped. So I brought in a couple of donors, and they were, larger donors. It was really exciting. It was a really exciting group because there was only 30 people there in total. And so we really got to instead of him making a speech like he does at most of these events, he literally just sat and had breakfast and talked. It was a large ballroom, but it was, just a small group of people.
Yeah.
And spoke. So he was, they were talking, Reince Priebus was there, and they were talking about the numbers are so much better than what people think. their intel is so much different that the media is so off that he's carrying Texas right now, even doing well in states like Connecticut. I mean, that have never been red. So really exciting to hear. He was so pumped. He was just a different. I just felt like he knew something like that we didn't know. But they shared a lot of that. They shared that they had made their ground funds. A lot of people, the one question that people ask me since I've been fundraising is, well, doesn't he paid for his whole campaign. He paid for the primaries, but no one could pay for, I mean, look at the Clintons. They're very wealthy, but you can't pay for what it costs to put on a presidential campaign. It's just,
exactly.
The media alone, everything eats up so much money. So it's been exciting for me to watch this. And also I've been on Nightline on a segment or two
cool.
for Women for Trump, and they just asked me to cover on election night for them in New York City. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, that's really exciting. Here, Rhonda, this is Nathan Lawrence in here. I have.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes, ma'am. It's nice to be talking with you.
Here.
I live uptown. And probably have more Hillary supporters uptown than probably the whole state of Louisiana. I mean, I see your little H's all over the place uptown. It's pretty disgusting.
HRC,
yeah.
And we talk a lot about it.
Have you ever talked to talked to any of those people?
Confronted them? Like Jehovah's Witness, you mean?
I can
confront
tell you
them.
From,
have you taken Trump in your heart? Have you taken Trump in your heart? Have you?
Believe me, I know what you guys are talking about. My brother, Mel, who lives in New Orleans, my whole family was there.
Okay.
We literally defriended each other and blocked each other on Facebook. That's how bad he is, and that's how far he is. Far to the left. I'm not. I'm moderate. He is far. He's out. He's so far. He's almost in a circle. Wow. So I mean, they're like, please explain to me. You're not the same person we grew up with. I don't understand it. It's like crazy. So, and then I have friends from LA because I lived in LA for 27 years. That are comic friends, extremely liberal, who, pretty much not as bad as my brother, but, pretty much like not understanding it.
And that's the thing. We're looking at your bio, Rhonda, and we see you moved from New Orleans to L.A., assuming that you would have been conditioned over there, or socially engineered to be like more leftist. But it's interesting that you took such a right turn in a way.
I think what it is, no, it's really easy, guys. I grew up. So, see, I was in show business, and I was definitely interested in politics. I always voted, but I wasn't, like really on the ground, really listening. And I didn't own my own business. Once you own your own business, and then you're employing other people, and you see what other people's struggles are, and you see and you listen to what people want and need, especially when they want and need change. Because even back when I ran in New Orleans, politics was corrupt then. Well, we all know that era. So if it's corrupt in a small city or in a town or in a state, you can only imagine that it's very true on a national level. So Trump, I mean, there's definitely a couple of things no party's perfect, and there's a couple of things socially that I am not, a believer in, and that's why I'm getting more involved with the Republican Party, because I really want to change those things. And you have to have people like me who stand up and say, hey, I'm a woman, or I'm a young lady, or it's a millennial, and we all have to stand to change some of the things of the older boy school that people, I think of the party.
That's a good point. You being in the entertainment industry, whether it's current or not, or say someone who even works at the post office. I see them, if you post something that's pro this or that, they say, man, I wish I could say that, but, I work for the post office, or I work for the military. Or in your case, if you work out in L.A., you might get boycotted for, having certain views. So it is interesting to see how certain people...
I'm on air still. I sell women's apparel on HSN and all over the country. But, I have a large brand of intimate apparel and women's apparel. And, we reach millions and millions of women. Of course, I don't talk about that. I mean, you can't talk politics, it's a
exactly.
It's
business.
But I've only gotten like one or two negatives. I mean, I have quite a large social following between Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook, several Facebook pages, and I've only gotten one really negative comment from a customer. That was it. I mean, which was really interesting to me. I'm not saying that my friends haven't been negative or acquaintances, I should say, but I haven't gotten anything back from someone, so who knows? I mean, I know people may be thinking and wondering, but, the thing is, if you're liberal, doesn't that mean you should be able to speak your mind and not want to
put people in a box?
Liberal means more freedom, not less.
I think it means the opposite now. So I went to a Trump rally here in.
Hey, hold that thought, Ron. Hold that thought. We're coming to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio.
If you want to speak to Rhonda, call up 504-556-9696. A lot of people are watching the Cubs game right now, Rhonda. But again, we're excited to have you on the show. YouTube uploads, go to our page. A lot of people are going to see this. Battle of New Orleans Radio, call in, talk to Rhonda Shear, 990 AM. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO in the heart of the Crescent City. We are the home of the First Amendment. This is the only station that will allow us to broadcast. You will not hear this information from the corporate whore-controlled stations down the street. So please support WGSO at 990 and please support us. We have Miss Rhonda Shear on the line with us, New Orleans native, actress, activist, big Trump supporter. Ron, I want to ask you, look, before we had you on, we had Miss Bev Harris on from blackboxvoting.org. And she just laid out this new revelation about
fraction
magic, about how they're able to steal the votes on the tabulation level. They're able to use decimals to actually steal votes and put them to whatever candidate they like. So what is your take on, Trump bringing out this information and bringing out the questions about voter fraud? And now we see a lot of evidence on how they're, committing this voter fraud. What is your take on that? And how do we counteract, the theft?
It's really interesting. There was a guy, that I was with today, one of my donors, and he owns an app. You can look it up called Poll, P-O-L, Mole, M-O-L-E. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about. Like, it's about voter fraud and how, like, if you use this app, it can't happen. But it is going on. It's always gone on. I think that no matter what, look, I hope that Trump wins like there's no tomorrow. But he has completely opened the biggest can of worms. First of all, with mainstream media, you can't even go on Google and see what's trending. You can't go on Facebook. It is completely blocked what's really truly trending. Everything is smoke and mirrors. You have no idea what to believe. I do believe there's voter fraud. That's why Trump has been saying in the states where you can re-vote, there are a few states where I think Louisiana is one of them where you can vote if you turn in your absentee ballot, you can get it back, and then you can vote up to election day. I think Louisiana's one of those states 3 more times. So he's encouraging that. He's shaking things up. At the very least, I don't think this country will ever be the same. I think that we're going to need answers, and we're going to demand it. I mean, if she gets in office, she's going to be shrouded with, what's going to go on with her in all the emails and the lies and the corruption. Just like people say, how can you vote for him? Well, there's a million reasons why you can vote for him.
Yeah, Rhonda.
How can anybody vote for her?
And
anybody vote for her? And
leading into your comment there, what do you see for America if Hillary were to say win, God forbid, in your eyes? What would you see for America maybe over the next 4 to 8 years?
Today was a doctor who she feels, just as a medical doctor, in watching her in this last year, that she's very sick, and she says, I think she is stage 3 Parkinson's. So we may have someone who never makes it through office. I mean, of course, that's not known, but a lot of doctors, I've read it, but this is a doctor that I was with who's an internal medicine person, who was a neurologist. That was her specialty, who said she definitely has something going on. So, what would we see? I don't think we'd see a lot of the thing. I don't think we'd see our country the way, or at least the way I grew up, and and not having freedom of religion, Second Amendment rights taken away, complete what would go on in. I just don't think she's a negotiator. That I can see Trump now. I've been with him personally several times. The man is not what he appears or what people think. He's calm. He listens. He really listens to people. Like, he listens to you. He takes it in. He can spout back what you just said. Mm-hmm. He would be an amazing deal maker. And I think, working with foreign countries, everything about him would be what we grew up with, and then more, in terms of being safe, women being treated fairly. He does love women, and I don't mean in the way, look, yes, he's a guy, and he's a little haughty, and so what? I mean, all the strong women I know, they're like, who cares what he said? Let's care what he does. Who cares what he says?
Well, listen,
if you're a strong woman, you don't play the victim.
All right, Rhonda.
Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry about that. No, we do have a caller. We have on line number 1, we have the Flaming Liberal. Go ahead, Flaming Liberal. You're on the line with Rhonda Shear. Go ahead.
Hi, Ms. Shear. The last time I heard you on radio, it was quite a number of years ago. You were on with Andre Laborde on WSMB Radio, and Andre wanted to know if you would ever pose nude, and you said you would never do it. But after that, I think you posed not once but twice for Playboy, and I'd like to thank you.
Give me a break. Give me a break. I was in Playboy in 1978. I was in Playboy in 91. I brought the layout to them. I was in Playboy in 98, in 93, when I was on a show called USA Up All Night. I never said I wouldn't pose nude. And if you heard me a number of years ago, I had to have been like 18, not knowing.
Okay, well, it was on the Andre Laborde show. I remember it very well.
Wait, hold on. One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Wait a minute. Just like Trump. Trump has changed too. When you circle the country over and over like he's been doing and seeing the people, he's not the same man that he was as when he was running, when he was in the primaries, as he is now. When you get out there and meet the people, people change.
One at a time, guys. One at a time. Go ahead, Flaming Lib. Go ahead. What's your rebuttal to what Rhonda just said?
Well, maybe President Clinton has changed too, but I don't know if you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt like Trump.
Well, I mean, President Clinton isn't running, although I really,
True.
the second she stood by her man, I tell you what, my man, if he was in the Oval Office or in an office in my house doing what Bill Clinton did with a cigar with a young intern, I wouldn't have stood by his man unless you're a woman who is completely power hungry, and all along it was for herself getting in the presidency and using power. Because if she truly is sick, she's totally pulling one over all of our eyes, and she's going to never make it through her presidency. And she's going to be shrouded in lawsuits the entire time.
Okay, and that's only because the Republicans are vindictive.
She's a war criminal. She's a war criminal.
Excuse me, I just went to a rally with over 20,000 people here, and since the paid people that fight, all the Dems that are fight, there's not one person. There's nobody fighting. It's quiet. It's all American people. I saw Hispanics. I saw African Americans. I saw every nationality, old people, young people, millennials. No one's fighting. Completely amazing crowd, and amazingly just pro-America. That's what they were pro. I don't know why you guys do not let us speak. You're the ones who call you stupid, you're a redneck, and every other name in the book. I don't go on people's Facebook page and put them down because they're for Hillary. If you're for Hillary, great. Then vote for Hillary. That's wonderful.
Flaming Liberal.
Why would you tend to say someone's? I mean, you started attacking me that I said I'd never posted Playboy.
I didn't attack you. I'm praising you.
I had to have been 17.
I said I thank you for doing it. You're a beautiful woman.
Flaming Liberal, listen, if you have any final rebuttal, go ahead before the commercial break. Go ahead.
On the Whitewater investigation, investigating the Clintons, and the only thing that 3 special prosecutors found out, and there were 3 independent investigations before that, and I'm not joking, this was printed in the Washington Post. We found out almost exactly
God knows,
down to a single centimeter where President Clinton put his hand on Monica Lewinsky's private.
All right.
Would you let
one person at a time, guys?
Wait, I didn't hear.
What was your question, Flamin' Lib? Go ahead.
Oh,
I think he disconnected there. But go ahead, Rhonda. We have about 2 minutes before the break.
Or was it something lewd? In the meantime, that's what they do. They just spout and hang up. In the meantime, yes, the Clintons are such a machine. And, have you known any other family that makes money without a job except for the Clintons? I can tell you one thing. The Trumps work. The Trump family works. I met Darren today, Ivanka's husband. What a great guy. What an amazing guy. And making over his wife.
Hold that thought, Rhonda. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We got Miss Rhonda Shear on the line with us.
Call in 504-556-9696. Appreciate the call, Flaming Lib. You have your right for your First Amendment. Rhonda Shear's on. We'll be right back. Battle of New Orleans Radio, 990 AM.
Yup. Even syphilis.
She's walking like a demon. Elections to have it their own way, irrespective of the people's will. Who could give direction to what your newsmen say? Eat your lunch and leave you with a bill. Close on Hillary, got her finger in the dike. If it serves to make her more, there's no war but she don't lie. She's a thieving, lying slob, and she's always on the prowl. If the FBI did their job, they would lock the bitch up.
Civil unrest, chaos in the streets, this push to basically demonize him. But we went to the rally to see what civil unrest we would see there. Well, when we got there, this was at the New Orleans Lakefront Airport in February 2016, and we went there.
We had about 5,000 people.
5,000 people there, Rhonda, and when we got there. They had their little chants. They had their no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. Let's go, Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. And they're doing a little cheerleading thing there.
It's a top 40 hit.
It's a top 40 hit. They always got some catchy little tune going on to get their little lemmings going with them. And it was peaceful. But you could tell it was like Black Lives Matter or funded protesters, $15 an hour on Craigslist, things like that kind of deal. Paid protesters, these millennials or these gutter punks basically who are getting paid to kind of hold a sign up.
They had the Communist Party out there.
That's what it is.
There's a group that I work with here called, you can look them up to, blackpac.org.
Okay.
They have been on the ground in New Orleans and in Louisiana, all over the southern states, campaigning door to door. And you would be surprised, I've worked with 2 black groups, how incredible, how much that people don't know that they are completely Republican. They're a Republican group that they feel like they've been suppressed and kept down because of what's gone on in the Obama administration. They are so anti-Obama and so anti-Clinton, they can't see straight. And they are literally, and I was told by my friend George Farrell, who's president of blackpac.org, look it up, that absolutely, in New Orleans, there's way more African Americans for Trump, but probably are afraid to speak out as well. The people that you're seeing at these rallies, again, are getting paid. They're not going to vote anyway. They can't vote, and they're, when you get to a different place, when you get to a different education level, and you speak to someone like George Farrell, he'll tell you the only way to move forward and to get out of these neighborhoods and to rise up education-wise is with a Trump, not with a Clinton that's going to keep it the same way.
And Rhonda, and look, Trump's talking about something like the Federal Reserve and the central banks, and we agree this is a bipartisan issue because whites or blacks in America are dealing with a currency that's constantly losing its value. It's a fiat currency backed by nothing, and it is a bipartisan issue that they need to realize because we're both going to work, we're both trying to survive, we're humans, we're trying to get ahead, and these are bipartisan issues that need to be confronted, but they are suppressed, like you said. Well, anyways, back to the Trump rally in New Orleans in February. We go to the rally. It was kind of calm outside with the paid protesters, but you could definitely tell it was orchestrated civil unrest somewhat. They had their little chants.
Tulane students.
Tulane students predominantly. We saw that again with the Jackson Statue Monument attempt at the pull down. There's a lot of these Northeasterners, these hipsters and trendies or whatever from Tulane University. Well, anyways, when we are leaving the
They're
Trump.
just bored.
Wait, say that again?
They're just bored.
I guess.
They need something to do.
What was weird, though, Rhonda, the main rabble-rouser, or I think it was a Tulane University student, a little female, this kind of radical feminist chick, she was at the Jackson Statue Monument. She confronted us. That's a side story. But when we were leaving the Trump rally, it was dark. People are just trying to peacefully go to their vehicles, and they were way more aggressive. They were getting in your face. They're saying, you're a racist. They had signs that said, Trump is the next Fuhrer. And interesting thing on that, they're trying to say he's like Hitler, this and that. This one girl spelled Fuhrer incorrectly, F-U-R-E-R, and I shouted, I kind of upset her. I said, hey, Fuhrer is spelled F-U-H-R-E-R. Spell check matters. And she got so mad that I called her out for that. She was like, oh, how dare you? She goes, your vote doesn't matter. And anyways, this same girl, she said her name was Montero, but
well, hold up, before you go any further, Goyim. She had this girl approached me, and she tried to get me to come join the Communist Party. She says, well, I'm kind of communist, I'm not full blown communist, but we're meeting here at this location. It'd be really great, if you just come join us, because it's
totally crazy. These people, I'm telling you, they were paid by by the Clinton group. I'm telling you.
And Rhonda, listen,
yeah.
it's great to have a female voice on the show. We talk a lot about radical feminism on the show. We talk about the depopulation. We talk, obviously, they say it's conspiracies.
If you don't play a victim, if you are a strong woman and you work for what you want in life, like I've been working, and I am completely different than the girl that the guy that when he first called in. I'm a grown up now. I mean, I manufacture hundreds and hundreds, not millions of items that are sold. I can't manufacture in this country. I would love to. There wasn't one factory that's set up to be able to manufacture.
Wow.
So for me, the business part of it is vital. And making good trade deals so that we can get. Do you realize how many jobs that would open up?
But see, and Rhonda, you're a successful woman, and we talked a lot about this about wealthy people in America. It's like, well, it's not my problem. I got my money. What's good about you is you have success, but you're looking at the big picture still and realizing, hey, there is a big picture.
Years ago, I reunited with my junior high school sweetheart that I met in New Orleans. We had nothing, and we started from ground zero. I was coming out of L.A. He was coming out of Lafayette. We started with nothing, and we worked our butts off. That's how you become successful.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is the kind. Trump, you know what I saw him do when he left the hotel today? It was at the Doral. He literally turned to the front desk and said, "How's everything going? Is your manager okay? How are you guys doing?" He talks to all the help. Everyone. He wants to know what's going on.
Well,
he is this is what we need for this country.
And Rhonda, we got a call coming in shortly, but back to what Nathan was saying, these girls, maybe they're from broken homes, you got this debt matrix, you got the divorce matrix, so many families have been broken up the last sorry about that little mishap in studio. We had basically these young girls, they're from broken homes, maybe they're misdirected. They're coming up to Nathan, they're saying, join the Communist Party. They're these millennial hipster types, and they don't really have any direction. They don't have any money. They're disenfranchised. So, of course, they're going to go into that communist matrix in America now that they're pushing for.
That's really sad.
And this radical feminism where you see a family like Trump, successful, married, kids, unified family.
They're so amazing. They're so amazing. I mean, you'd have to meet them. I mean, this is a family that I've now gotten to know. Not all of them.
And listen, and Melania, I don't know much about her if I'm even pronouncing her name right, but, my father's from former Yugoslavia, from Croatia, and I know she's Slovenian. So those are quality people, and they have old school roots. I know this for a fact. Not all of them, but they have an old style, a Balkan style.
She's an architecture major.
Very intelligent, intelligent people.
Does all of everything for the hotels. These people are intellectual, but they are also hard workers, and he didn't let his kids get away. If you can't mess up kids, you really can't. I mean, you can't mess up kids.
Exactly. He did a good job pulling them off for sure. Well,
listen. And he cares about people. Go ahead, guys. I know you're
we got line number one. We got a call in. Phil, go ahead. You're on the line with Rhonda Shear.
Hey, it's a great pleasure and a great blessing to be on the air with y'all tonight. But I've got some real powerful suggestions that, it won't save America, save the whole world. But these are common sense things that anybody can do. I think we need to start a GoFundMe account to save money and raise a reward for a reward for the arrest, for information for the arrest of anyone that destroys the monuments, like Crime Stoppers does. And I'll bet you that people around the whole country would donate money to it and put it into a trust fund, into a bank, and try to raise that maybe $100,000 and put that out as a reward for anybody that defaces any monument anywhere, and pay it out if they actually catch them. And for the arrest and conviction, just like the way Crime Stoppers does it. Also, another way to make America safe, and I'm talking about all 50 states, I think we should make a law named after Taylor Freelou, a woman that I met, a young lady that was stabbed to death by the Canes in Kenner, Louisiana, call it the Taylor Freelou bill, and make it where you have to have a drug test to get hired at any job in Louisiana, across America, where you have to have a drug test to get food stamps and welfare, where you have to have a drug test to even get a driver's license.
And Phil, Phil, really quick, any questions for Rhonda and her support for Trump? What's your take on Trump with 1 week to the election? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think that people need to get behind Trump as much as humanly possible. Everybody has cell phones. Everybody has cameras. Everybody has a will to win. And I tell you what, we better have a will to win because we're going to need it. There is a way to stop and document all the voter fraud. As a matter of fact, since Barack Obama has been releasing all of these prisoners from all of these prisons in the United States of America and Guantanamo Bay, the population that lives here in this country should help the police as much as humanly possible and put as many criminals in jail so they won't be able to vote on Election Day.
All right, Phil, appreciate that. And listen, Phil's helped us clean these monuments, Rhonda. He's actually one of our listeners, and he's actually gone out there and helped us clean the Lee Circle Monument. He's gone out there, and hey, Phil, if you're still listening, come on out there tonight. We're going to go clean the Liberty Monument.
I mean, what's going on with that, guys? What's going to happen with the monuments? It makes me sick. You can't erase history.
Can't erase history. And what's interesting, what's happened? We have 4 monuments minus the Jackson Monument that they've been pushing since the Dylan Roof shooting to have removed. You know, we're tying Mitch Landrieu in the United Nations, this erase the hate. It's kind of this international globalist push to erase all of this. And some people say that
so we should erase religion, we should erase God,
and erase borders.
You know, let's just erase everything. So let's not remember Hitler. You know what? If you have a reminder of history, and then you learn about history and you teach your kids history, then they know that maybe it wasn't bad, but they're not. They're also just monuments to history. They're historic. Mm-hmm. You know, it's good to know these. At least now we have an awareness of they're not just a monument.
Exactly.
But to deface them, just like the person who defaced the star of Donald Trump in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, what's going on is like we've got to stop what's going on in this country. I mean, before we're tearing ourselves apart. And I'm sorry. I think it's Obama, and she's going to do more of it. There has been more civil unrest and racial unrest in the last 4 years, than there's ever been.
Exactly.
And I don't it was not that way. And I grew up in New Orleans in a very tough time. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that way. And I lived in Los Angeles. You never saw anything. There was no racial divide.
Well, Rhonda, we're gonna be right back with one more segment with you. Again, we'll be right back. Battle of New Orleans Radio 990 AM. We're on the air with Rhonda Shear for another 10 minutes. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We had Miss Rhonda Shear on the line with us, mega Trump supporter, big Trump donor. We appreciate her time. Rhonda, any last takes? I want to get any takes.
It's time for a change.
Go
guys.
ahead.
It's time for a change. It's time to change. We got to we got to clean the swamp. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. It's true, and we've got to clean it up. We've got to expose the media. I mean, this is America. Where is democracy? We cannot lose this. We can't. The Second Amendment. This is a very scary time for us.
And the First Amendment, the ability to say what you want, is definitely as important.
Okay,
yep.
Hello, liberals. Hello, liberals. If I speak out, then you can't say anything.
Exactly.
So we have to actually mend. And this is the one thing I did say, and this is what I'll close with. Is no matter who wins, I'm going to stand behind. I'm not that kind of person like my brother who continues and will continue to trash, the other side. If Hillary Clinton wins, I'm going to stand behind her. She's going to be my president. I'm an American first, and that's the most important thing. And I hope the best for her. I really do if she wins. But the moment there's still 6 more days, we can make a difference. We can still get out there and vote and do what we need to do and get the word out for Trump because I want to get back to what I grew up with, and I want to be able to and never have anybody sit for the Star Spangled Banner or not say "In God We Trust." I just want the things that we grew up with, and I want safety for my grandchildren, my stepchildren, and for all my friends. I want to feel safe again.
All right, Rhonda.
And I want police respected.
Exactly.
They are amazing. So that's my take. It's just common sense stuff. That's all.
Well, listen.
Don't vote on one issue. Look at all the issues.
Yeah, wear red if you're voting for Trump. It seems to be to make sure these Soros voting machines work, and we stay on top of that. But again, any last plugs you want to give to any websites or any clothing lines or whatever? You go for it.
You can go to RhondaShear.com. You can follow me on Facebook. You can have your words with me. I don't care. I'm all good.
She's not scared.
Right now I'm not scared. I'm not scared of any ghosts. And I'm completely pro-Trump. I'm very excited, and it's a very exciting year. And if you got to know him or just as a little, I put my heart into working for him. It was no different than what I did with my own company. I wanted to raise funds, and I just did it. So
put your money where your mouth is. Yep.
And it's even just my money. I bundled, and I went to friends.
Your heart and soul.
Money,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's door to door.
So we got 6 days. We got 6 days. Countdown is on. Rhonda Shear, again, we appreciate.
I will be covering for Nightline on election night. I don't know if it'll run on election night or that next Monday, but I will be working for Nightline at the party in New York City for Trump. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. Okay, well, listeners, check out Rhonda Shear, all the projects she's working on. Rhonda Shear, again, we appreciate you coming on our show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
By the way, I can be funny. Let's do a funny show.
We'll do We're going to get you on the show after Trump wins. How's that?
Okay, I'll come to New Orleans. I want to come into the studio.
Come into the studio. You're always welcome. Listen, we would love that.
My gumbo's better than any gumbo. I'll bring you some gumbo.
Listen, our young producer saw you and was like, who's this girl? We got to get her in the studio. He's excited about that idea. Like that. So we like it too. Thanks again, Rhonda. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Happy election. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. That was Rhonda Shear, USA Up All Night. You know, it was a lifelong dream of ours to have her on. We wanted to have her on 2 weeks ago, Nathan, Caleb. And it was great to have her on.